Alright, hello everybody, and welcome to another video of Green Square Talks Battlebots. So, I am joined here by returning co-hosts Blazegaming, Captain Mantine, Civilian Arc, and Pory Nog, and making his first appearance on here from Dragon Slayer, we got Jordan. So, how's it going, everybody?
The beer.
Mm.
Decent.
Yeah.
I like how lots of these are one-word responses, but glad to hear it,
Oh,
and glad to have
None
you
of them.
glad to have you on here, Jordan. It's always fun having a bit. It's always fun and getting to talk about combat robotics with actual builders from this, and
Yeah.
yeah,
and
so what we're discussing here will be our usual episode review of but for Battlebots Champions episode 3. The plan is we'll go through each of these fights one by one, including we'll talk a little bit about Dragon Slayer from their previous fights as well as like their future, and yeah, it should be another really fun discussion. But before we get to this one, as usual, there will be lots of spoilers on here. So if you haven't seen the episode yet, uh, I would recommend watching it because I guarantee there will be tons of spoilers flying here. So, okay, let's go ahead and get on to the first match. Yeah,
I think that one's mine.
yeah, it's Dragon
If I
Slayer
remember
and
correctly.
Uppercut. So, yeah,
This was
Uppercut.
a hard. This was a hard loss, man. I had to watch this one at the bar. 'Cause I couldn't watch it at home.
Yeah. So,
I'd be significantly inebriated for this one.
yeah, so Dragon Slayer and Uppercut returned to the arena for this one. Uppercut came out with a spinner that we haven't seen yet. It was said to be 30 pounds heavier than lots of their other spinners for a bit more power. And yeah, so Jordan, what was kind of your strategy for taking on Uppercut in this fight?
So I knew that they were hiding something from me because they were actually working on that robot with a tarp over it. Like I'd say 36 hours to 2 days. I never saw what was under there. It was obviously this new weapon, which isn't really new. They've had it for a while. I want to say since maybe even their debut season, and they haven't really got a chance to use it. But they decided to pop this one out against us for the Golden Bolt tournament. It wasn't part of the regular season, so they felt, I guess, it was a little more low risk. They could try some new things. Um, and I was kind of worried about what was under that tarp. I didn't know what it was. I thought it could be a gun or something. It could literally been anything. Absolutely no clue. No one else was allowed to know what it was. Certainly not us, because I knew that we were going up against them. Um, I did not see it until they walked through that tunnel. They did the reveal where they pulled the sheet off. I don't know if they showed that in the episode. I didn't see that, but I was not allowed to see it. I had no idea what it was. And then when I saw it was a brand new weapon, and they told me, yeah, it meets the full 80-pound weight limit, I was like, all right, well, shit. I'm gonna go home after this. you know,
Yeah.
yeah, that's your nerves are already built up at that point. Getting up into the battle box, it's like, what are you gonna do? You prepare as best you can. It's like now that we're here, we're like a minute away from loading in. You just gotta, stick to what you were doing before. Treat it no different. Um, yeah, a significantly terrifying weapon is what that was.
Uppercut in general is pretty terrifying in my mind. I know if I had a
Yeah, it
heavyweight,
doesn't matter what they
I
put
know
on
if I
there.
had a
It's
heavyweight, I think the two robots I would be the most nervous about taking on would probably be Uppercut and Sawblaze. And
Yeah, definitely those two. Those were
yeah,
two at the top of my list this year for ones I didn't want to encounter in the battle box.
yeah, yeah. Especially watching
What
Sawblaze
did that
body
do?
big name after big name and Uppercut with all the huge hits they've been landing on their opponents.
Yeah,
And
what the hell's up with that, man? I had a hard ass schedule this year.
yeah,
Duck was. You can never really say a robot is a gimme because it's battle bots. Literally anything can happen. There's upset after upset. There's one in each episode.
yep,
But Minotaur and then Blade, which say what you will about their 1 and 2 season, whether you thought it was rough or not. That thing is terrifying.
Yes.
Okay, it's enormous. It's got an enormous weapon on it. Spins deadly fast. I just think they had bad luck. I think they got all their issues worked out in their first two fights, and it all came out on us, right, in their third one. And then after that, uppercut. It's like when am I gonna catch a break? What season?
Yeah, I would
They're gonna
agree.
give me one easy one and then just load me up with these hard motherfuckers every other time after that.
Yeah, I would honestly agree with you on that because, like, on one hand, while it is good, while on one hand it is pretty good experience to take on like big names,
Yeah,
it's still a ton of vicious opponents. It's for you, and
especially for a rookie.
yeah,
Especially for a
that
rookie,
too.
you know.
Yeah, that's how I felt when Triple Crown got flung Valkyrie and Mad Catter or
Valkyrie
their
and
way,
Mac, God, they
and
maybe they caught even worse luck than us. I mean, that's just downright mean.
yeah, definitely. But still, you still held your own pretty well. And I'd say it was a solid rookie season. Like even though it was a one
Oh
in
yeah.
even though it was 1-3 so far, because yeah, you tore apart Duck pretty well. Yeah, Minotaur had a. I would say that was a solid showing. And like even though on the defense for most of it, I'd say. Uh, yeah, and then
Yeah,
even this fight held your own, and give you credit because you did kill one side of Drive on uppercut in that fight, though. So I mean
I
that,
think so.
yeah,
I actually didn't get a chance to talk to them too much after the fight. I got to see some of the physical damage that was there afterwards. We got, I would say, really like two hits, right? The one of the balancing tubes kind of flew off. Then we actually hit the other one, put a big crack in it. I actually got to keep it. I wish I had it here with me, but I moved locations here right before I got here, so I don't have all my stuff with me. Um, and then we got in one more hit. I would say about halfway through the fight. It was after both of the wedges had been curled up and nearly destroyed. We got one good hit on the body. I got to see it after the fight. It was just a little small hole, kind of halfway between the wheel on one side and the spinner assembly, kind of right in the middle. Didn't really seem to do much to them, but Dylan, my teammate, he said that he had a discussion with them, and it sounded like they had one of their ESCs burn out, and I assume that it must have been the drive ESC because they didn't seem to be moving around quite a lot at the end of the fight. That spinner was still going as far as I could tell. So
yeah, it looked like the
yeah, I
weapon was
think
going, but they looked like they were crab walking after one of those last few hits. I'm not sure which one.
yeah, I certainly don't think that they should have been counted out as well. They still showed I mean we just straight up died. They were at least still getting a little bit going on. So I certainly thought it was an exciting match, very entertaining match.
Yes.
You know, to cap off the season, you don't want to fade away. You want to burn out. You want to explode.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that's the best. It's the best way to go out. Like yeah, because definitely why else was Mad Catter so excited when they got ripped apart by Hypershock like that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that was just outstanding. Like including yeah, I think Calvin even said on social media it was the most fun fight that he's had or
Oh yeah.
something close to that. And
Yeah, the fights are fun no matter what. I
oh
think
yeah,
if I had lost all four of my fights, I would have been pissed. But I got one, so
yeah.
I can say I had a fun time.
And it's probably
And
the
I think
fight that it
about
was probably the fight that was most important to civilian arc too. So
Yeah. Yeah. As long as you beat Duck,
um,
you're good in my book.
Yeah, it was
oh,
kind of
yep.
rough at
Like I
the
said,
beginning.
happy to be of
Okay, I
service,
have a
and will
question.
gladly do it again if I get a chance.
Nice.
It
Okay,
was
so
kind of
I have a
rough to get
question for you.
the lockjaw schedule, like season one, rookie season lockjaw schedule. It was kind of tough. You hate to see kind of things like that.
yeah,
But I did get that big duck win though. That was pretty huge.
yeah,
Oh,
All that
I
really
definitely.
got to
matters.
I got to keep the beak too. Again, I don't have it with me, but I would have loved to show
Ooh,
it to you guys.
Oh,
that's
so
awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
any of the other
one more thing
co-hosts
about
want? Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say one more thing about the uppercut fight while we were on the subject. It runs through my mind a lot, especially since it's just been on TV and it's my most recent BattleBots fight technically. I think a lot about what I would have done different, given what had happened. A lot of you know, the stuff leading up to that was in the preparation. We found out very quickly that um, with the way we had made Dragon Slayer, what with the electronics and everything, it was basically a bot straight out of 2009. It looks pretty and everything. It's you know, I've had a discussion on a bunch of my other podcasts about how the ESCs exploded. They were these old uh, Amplo ESCs that couldn't handle running anything at 8S. So we really had to kind of bring that weapon back down to 6S, whereas we ran it at 8 for Orbi and Minotaur, and it just kept causing us problems. And I'm glad that we got to learn that through that uppercut fight that Spinner survived. It seemed to be us just cooking those ESCs that was the issue because we actually got Dragon Slayer working again right after the fight. I think what had killed it was just stuff coming loose. There was receiver wires coming out. Stuff that was not like hard secured had come out of place. It was just loose connections here and there. I think a dry positive wire came out as well. So um, it's good to learn as you do these fights, and when you go up against such a big heavy hitter like uppercut, it really is the best way to learn. But I got a little off track there. But stuff I would do differently in the fight with the same preparation and everything. Dragon Slayer just the way it was. Um, I I kind of wish I wouldn't. I use the word panic. I'm not really used to being in that environment of combat robotics because that was my first time. I had never done it before, no other weight class, no smaller stuff. I'd never even been to an event as a teammate, really. The most BattleBots experience I got before that was I was in the studio audience on season 4. You can see me holding up a death roll sign. In like the last two, no, it would have been second to last and third to last episodes, I think. That's as close as I ever got to combat robotics, so it was very nerve wracking. Um, I had a discussion with the team, and they said that driving with that big 80-pound spinner was just it was very very hard. And with that knowledge now, I would have liked to try to instead of just ramming into him, like I said I wouldn't in my pre-fight interview, actually tried to get around him. The one or two times I actually did, it didn't really work, But by that point, you saw that the wedges were curled up like this. There was no way I was going to get to him, right? Basically, I had a big fence in front of myself, preventing me from hitting anything. So, you know, this sport is full of shoulda, woulda, couldas. You just have to learn, and you got to kind of move on.
Oh yeah, definitely, and including I give you so much credit for just coming to BattleBots with a robot like that, and like you said that this was your first combat robotics event, and I'd say it was really solid though. And it sounds like you learned from a lot of the mistakes you made in that fight, and I'm sure the other two fights too, which will definitely work out well for whenever the next time we see Dragon Slayer is, or whatever other combat robotics events you might choose to get involved in. And
I, I plan to
yeah, so
kick a metric ton.
so then Blaze, Mantine, Civilian Arc, Pory, you four want to talk about this fight?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'll go ahead. It was honestly, Dragon Slayer took the hits a lot better than I thought it would, because I know that first hit I was just like, oh fuck, it's over. But no, it kept on kicking for a while. Um, I guess that weapon on uppercut probably won't be coming back, because it was they definitely struggled with gyro, and it was definitely, I don't think the trade off was worth it from comparison to damage to actual ability to get across the arena and not fucking go up on one wheel. So I don't know if we'll be able to be seeing that again, but I don't know.
I don't know, man. I don't know, Mantine. I think they do want that vertical horizontal spinner combo.
It's like, dude, it's like Misty the Wonder Butt from fucking like original Series 5 battle. Or you guys remember that, Misty?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember.
Yep.
Dude, Dude, it was just Misty the Wonderbot. I never even realized that. Holy shit. Sick.
So true. Pory, Blaze, or Civilian?
Oh, well, that was a tough draw for you, definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Might not. I wouldn't say it was the toughest draw for you.
Yeah, I would.
No, I think Minotaur was a lot worse.
Yeah, but Minotaur isn't in the Golden Bolt tournament, to be fair.
I
I'm
think he
talking
was
about,
saying, like, out of the
period.
matches that he had, probably.
Yeah.
That was the
Well,
toughest.
okay, then yeah.
That's fair.
But you still you did a lot better than I thought you would.
Yeah, I don't
gave
think
it
a
my
lot of
best.
people. Yeah,
A
man.
lot of this just sounds like we had no faith in Dragon Slayer.
That's
I mean, it's
fine. I
Well,
expect that.
It's uppercut.
Yeah. No offense. But that's probably true.
Yeah,
get it.
I did have a
get it.
small amount of hope because I know when Pory and I did a prediction podcast on this thing, it's talking about pretty much I was talking about how the best way to beat uppercuts like to take advantage of the gyro problems because that's like how Riptide beat uppercuts this season because Ethan took hardcore advantage of the gyro problems and got that first hit before he started absolutely wrecking uppercut and yeah,
No,
definitely.
okay.
Like regardless though, that was a very tough draw, and I would agree Dragon Slayer held its own very well in that fight, and
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
and
I really thought we could reach him with our weapon, man. At least reach that cage that kind of surrounds the weapon, but it just no dice. Couldn't get to it, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would definitely agree with Mantine that I'm not sure if it was worth using that spinner or at least for that fight. Because like Mantine said, I don't think they used it in any of their other fights from this. Therefore, I'm not sure what they took out for those 30 pounds there, unless if they were 30 pounds underweight, which I doubt is true. Uh, but it definitely just didn't seem to work out for them. Unfortunately, definitely the spinner power was there because they were able to cause quite a bit of damage. But yeah, the bigger amount of gyro that we were seeing there, as well as the fact that they lost drive on one side, it looks like Jordan's teammate probably has the right idea when he mentioned it was probably an ESC. At least that would be my guess because I think Uppercut has been having ESC issues because I know they lost drive on one side to free shipping, and I think Huge as well. I don't know for sure. Pory, we haven't heard from you. You got anything on this fight?
Oh yes. Hello. Yeah. I mean, there's not much I could really say that hasn't been said before. I think Dragon Slayer definitely held its own in the fight and took a lot of gnarly hits. That I mean, if I built a combat robot, it wouldn't have survived the first hit from uppercut. So I got to give credit where credit's due.
Oh
And
yeah.
unrelated, by the way, I wanted to thank you. A few like a month or two ago, I asked if there were any pictures of the front of your robot after the Orby hit, and you showed it to me in the Discord server in Uda, and I appreciate that, by the way. I
Cool,
love
yeah,
little
no problem.
I love little behind the scenes looks like that.
Yeah, I made sure to take plenty of pictures of stuff after the fights.
Oh
Which
yeah.
haven't been too active in posting on social media or anything. I got plenty of pictures though.
As much as I on these podcasts, my brand is usually shitting on robots. I do genuinely hate whenever a team can't come back, whether it be financial or just getting there or whatever the case might be. I do hate seeing when a robot can't come back for a season after that, or they just can't get something ready so they can prove himself in another season. I do hate to see that kind of thing. So I do hope you guys come back sometime in the future because I did really like the theming and the look of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
really
you,
like
thank you. And I'll since you bring it up, we'll go ahead and touch on that a little bit next.
I'll quick move to another slide since I bet the next slide, but which is technically on the same topic. All right, couple Dragon Slayer images. All right, you go ahead and keep going with what you were saying.
Okay. Yeah, I want to talk about kind of what's going on with this upcoming season and anything else we got going on in the future. But I did not receive kind of email or phone call or acceptance basically for Dragon Slayer to come back again. Um, Thinking, what can I tell you guys and what can I not tell you? Because I want to, give you as much as I can, but there's a lot that's kind of under wraps, a little bit of
NDA.
an NDA kind of stuff going on. But
Mhm.
uh, uh, we can at least say, and because there's so many bots that fit into this category. Imagine, if you will, we're on like a wait list for a wait list. We're pretty far back in the backups, basically. We're still, our application hasn't been denied or accepted or anything. It's just it's up to, you know once it gets down to the wire, when they're getting really close to having to do filming for season 7, they're going to start, on spots if they drop off, right? And the first people they're going to call are going to be people that have their robots built and ready to go, because oftentimes for these new robots, or robots that drastically change their design from a previous season, they put a lot of faith in them to get their build done, from concept to ready to fight in sometimes as little as 90 days, and sometimes it doesn't always work out. Sometimes there's, the British situation with season 6 where a bunch of teams were not able to be there. I think 5 or 6 teams in total that had team members or full teams from England just weren't able to attend because of the visa situation.
Yep.
So that is kind of where we're only going to be on the wait list or accepted once people start dropping off, right? And the wait list deal this year, it kind of allows you to get on and do what Triple Crown and Big Deal did, where they weren't really part of like the regular season. They got 2 fights each. They were sort of there to um, you know fill in spots, or just it's like they had a robot. They want to be on BattleBots. Let them come and fight the robot. Damn it. Why wouldn't you let them? God knows you get a little bit of time to let them go there and fight their robot like they want to, right? So the work on Dragon Slayer 2 has not really begun at all at this point. It's still just totally conceptual. I've got a lot of other events that I plan on going to, stuff that is tangible, stuff I know I can actually build for and spend money on and go to and get something out of it, right? There's still merit in building that second Dragon Slayer, and if BattleBot says, "Hey, nope, sorry, you can't come this time," it's like, all right, well, see you next time, maybe. There's still robo games. There's still, just being able to say, "Hey, I got this cool ass BattleBot." There's still merit to that, but it is, it's very expensive to do compared to, the success I've had with my 30-pound robot Squire. Focusing on that it's easier, it's cheaper, it's so much more versatile because I can take it to NHRL, 6, 7 times a year. I can take it to Robotica or Ruckus or Motorama and all that. BattleBots is once a year. Got to keep that in mind, and it's like it's the most expensive of all the builds I could possibly do, right? So I have to weigh, I want to prep possibly getting onto BattleBots, or do I want to keep, you know, learning and improving and putting work into this robot that I can fight like 9 times a year, right? It's just you have to weigh what do you want, and what my heart wants right now is to focus on my 30 Squire. Did very good at Robotica. That was a great way to come off the losing streak at BattleBots, and that's just kind of what has been at the front of my mind right now.
Yeah, I completely understand and yeah, completely agree. Just knowing, yeah, because like Joe retired Smee, because like he knows that, because like from what I've heard and what Pory has told me, like he knows he can make like a Smee that could go, a version of Smee that could go on a deep run, but it's just like not financially worth it, just because like building a 250-pound robot is so expensive, like. Yeah, because we've seen robots like who are probably crossing into the $100,000 area for how much
Oh
the
yeah.
robots are costing, and that's insane. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I hope
There's
we'll
definitely
get to see Dragon Slayer back eventually, because like what Mantine said, I love the concept, and I like the story that you and your team kind of have when it comes to coming here, because like you were all like new to combat robotics, and and like many of us said, you had a solid first go at BattleBots, and
Yeah, well, it wasn't just me. It was all four of us
yeah,
who had never really done it before. So it was a big learning curve for everybody.
yes,
Everybody after doing it was hooked on it. I remember just it's a crazy kind of high you get after you win your first fight. We stayed up all night. We talked about it. We had a fantastic time. Um, and then we didn't get a fight for another 2 days. So we still got to ride that high. We can say we're undefeated for a day or two. And then it all kind of came crashing down when Minotaur came after us. But um, those guys from Minotaur still, we like our best friends. They're the most amazing group of guys right there, an absolutely incredible team. So that was a great way to, at least, even if we're going to lose, it still felt good.
absolutely. Eh, Yeah, cause like even if you end up falling like that, like it's still it's still great regardless. Like it's all great fun, and yeah, great entertainment for us. It's like, yeah, you definitely did a great job of putting up such an amazing show for us, and yeah, I really
I
hope
can't believe
we'll
I'm
get to see
saying this,
Dragon
but
Slayer in the future.
we can't all be glitch. We can't all have that 7-0 run. I still can't believe I'm saying
Yeah,
that.
that's amazing, and
The it's like that series. It's like fucking Luigi wins by doing absolutely nothing. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It's fucking. I'm like, dude, how does it keep happening? What the fuck? I mean, I love glitch. I love
Glitches, man.
the stealth bomber look. I've always loved that, but I can't get behind it when it can't fucking move. Like I just can't do it.
And still
I,
wins
I
every
think
fight.
I think
Yeah.
the biggest underdog status is that being their first fight. That was their first impression, and they had their absolute worst mobility issues throughout all their fights. Was the very first time. That's kind of locked in everybody's mind that that's what glitch is. It kind of moves like that.
yeah. Uh, Pory, are you have any questions for Jordan? Because I know you mentioned you were excited for this
Uh,
podcast.
yeah. I just want to say I love the robot. I love the look of it. And I'm very excited to see what you bring to the live events. I did see that you signed up for the Robo games when I was peeking through the entries, and I'm looking forward to that for sure. I'm very excited that Robo games is back. Period. Like that was just such a
Oh yeah, after
it was so
5
out
years.
of
Oh
the
my
blue.
goodness.
Yeah, it was so out of the blue. Like someone DM'd me like, "Oh, Robo Games is back," and I thought they were messing with me because it's so random, and I'm
Oh,
very much
it,
looking
it,
forward to that.
it was out of nowhere. I
It's
almost
like
missed
what
the
the fuck?
deadline. Someone was like, "Hey, you should sign up for Robo Games." Let me take a look. One spot left, and I got it.
Nice.
Solid. And yeah, I can't wait to hear about like yeah progress in Robo games, and yeah, if Dragon Slayer does return for a future season of BattleBots, see how that goes. But yeah, if you did make that design right there, what are some of the improvements you would have considered making for that version at least?
So a lot of the bigger improvements are in the internals. That I think most people know by now. We were using the old T64s for drive, the amp loads for the spinner, old classic stuff that has been much phased out by most everybody by now. Still a lot of teams using the mag motors with the chain gearboxes for drive. Not so much in the spinners though. So we know by now how to set up a brushless system for the spinner. Drive, I think we're going to stick with the brush drive. We're going to go from the NPCs to the mag motors though. If weight allows it, maybe even double up on them. The updated Dragon Slayer, and the design is it's changed even a little bit more since the picture you have on screen right now. Dylan did a new design recently in just a couple days, and it may still change again. There's 8 months or 7.5 months till Robo Games, so there's wiggle room in there for the design to change. But it's actually a four-wheel drive in Dylan's design. The front wheels, it's a bit like a retrograde kind of thing. They're hidden underneath this sort of skirt of armor, and the rear ones are exposed so as to allow it to, drive inverted, the way it did, in the last season.
Yeah.
So we're trying better to protect that, entire front part of the robot. It may be getting quite a lot smaller, I think. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but it's of what Dylan incorporated into his design. He's kind of the one who leads the design. We kind of work back and forth with each other to kind of figure out what is going to work best. The things are we're going to try to dedicate a little more kinetic energy to the spinner. I think what we struggled with in some of our fights, most notably Minotaur, I just think it wasn't carrying any inertia at all because you watch the replay, it hits and it stops. I mean, it comes to a dead stop. Most of the time, you'll even see, your spinners, they'll hit and they'll slow down. But this one actually hit, stopped, and it started going backwards. It was so terrible. I mean, that weapon it was super tiny, right? It was 31 pounds fully assembled with the pulley and everything. It was only 25 it just bare naked, right? So that was a very, very small weapon, and I think that's why it didn't do too well from that impact. I think that's what killed those ESCs probably. There was just no inertia. Other than that, it certainly looks better. I think new color scheme. We've got some 3D effects on there. The little dragons. It's the center of the knight logo is what that dragon head is in the picture you've got there. That's something that we've been 3D printing for a while. We've been giving out these little 3D printed like tokens to our friends and stuff. They're probably going to be machined aluminum, sort of like space top armor. More decorative than anything, but 1 inch aluminum like that is still tough to get through for a hammer or a hammer saw or something like that. Changes other than that, probably gonna take advantage of the graphene battery technology. That was something that we didn't do. We still had good batteries. We had the max amps, 100C batteries, but I think we might dedicate a little more capacity this time. We've been able to save a lot of weight based on the shrinking of the design. Even when armoring it up further, we've got even more weight left over. Dragon Slayer was at its lightest, I think 225 pounds in the previous season. That's with the small weapon and the 4-inch thick wedges. Other than that, I probably want to stick to something that is closer to the old Dragon Slayer than some of my teammates. I still think it has a lot of good properties from the old one. Just there's a lot of bring it down a little bit, it's a lot of internal stuff. Definitely changing the wedges. I was not, they didn't really work for us. Fighting against Minotaur, they got curled up, and then we couldn't reach Minotaur. Same thing happened with Uppercut. Orby actually, when they hit us, they got behind us to the chassis, hit the backside of the wedge and ripped it out. So there's definitely going to be a curved corner now, so that nothing can reach that chassis because that shit cannot ever happen again. That ripped out a drive receiver just from ripping that whole entire faceplate off. The chassis is probably not going to be one big thing of like welded aluminum this time. There might be a subframe, or there will actually be some tongue and groove where it's actually bolted together so we can replace things. Because working on this thing, at Battlebot Season 6 kind of sucked, right? Nothing could really be replaced because it was all welded and we only had one frame. We were one of very few people who only had one robot with us instead of 2, 3, 4. I think 4 was the most people had. But yeah, those are some of the changes. Maybe we'll see at Robo Games or future Battlebots.
Absolutely. And yeah, so yeah, definitely. Thanks for sharing a lot of that. And
Yeah, sure.
yeah, are there any other questions on Dragon Slayer, or should we get to talking about Ice Wave and free shipping?
Let's move on to fights.
Yeah, I know I got one more question, but I'm gonna wait to answer it until we're off, or wait to ask it until we're off recording. So,
Thing.
I have a question.
oh, what you got, Blaze?
Uh, why did you name your bot Dragon Slayer? What's the whole?
The theming of the thing was something we deliberated on for a couple days. Um, we wanted something that was heavily themed, something like uh, Witch Doctor, uh, Black Dragon. We wanted to find a nemesis. We wanted to set it up to where it's like what's a perfect fight for a bot named Dragon Slayer, Black Dragon, as I just said. So it's like, hey, if you're going to accept us for the show, look who you can put us up against. It just makes perfect sense. I think that's part of how it came to have that.
Yeah. So would you want to fight Black Dragon?
Absolutely. Oh, of course.
Could you beat Black Dragon?
I think so.
Oh, all right. Do it.
I feel like
Easy
Blaze.
for me to- it's
I have a
easy
feeling.
for me to say
I
that.
feel like Blaze. I feel like Blaze is probably asking that because he knows. Because yeah, I'm a big fan of the Brazilian robots, Black Dragon, Minotaur, as well as Witch Doctor, my profile picture, and yeah, those are
Yeah.
kind of like three of my
No, I
biggest
I
favorites.
was not asking that because of the game.
Oh, fair enough. But
No, I was just generally curious. So, what would you consider to be the bot that you want to fight the most?
That I want to fight the most.
Yep.
There's a couple of those at the top of my list. For one, there's a rematch with Minotaur in there. I feel that all of the bots that we fought this year, I think that one we almost got that we didn't get was without a doubt Minotaur. I spoke on a previous podcast before about what you know damage we were actually able to do to them. It's very difficult to see on the show. The only place you can really see it, I posted a picture on my Instagram, the Dragon Slayer Battlebots Instagram. The very first hit from that fight was not a weapon-to-weapon contact. It was us hitting them just to the right of their weapon on the frame, right? And there's a hole about the size of a golf ball. The shrapnel blasted through it, and it knocked off of the belts that went to their left side weapon motor, and then it dropped out of the robot. So they were running on just one weapon motor for the remainder of that fight.
that actually explains a lot
I
because
want
it
to do
looked
that
like
again.
that explains a lot because it looked like Minotaur was was struggling with keeping their weapons spinning in that fight. Because like you mentioned in the Minotaur fight how when you made contact with them hit came to a stall. I felt that was going on with Minotaur as well in that one. Like they'd make contact with Dragon Slayer
Yeah.
somewhere and then their drum spinner would immediately fall. That definitely explains a lot there. And
Yeah, there was definitely a little bit of that going on. I could tell as well, but not really while the fight was going on, but seeing it afterwards, you can clearly see that the weapon is it's not at 100%.
yeah. So yeah, who are some of the other robots you're looking to take on?
I can take Hydra. I'll
Ooh.
go on record and say that right now. I've got
Base.
I actually in my design for Dragon Slayer, which I have not really put out there or anything. The ones you're seeing are the renders and the designs that are made by Dylan. Um, I've got something in my mind that I think would be perfect to go against Hydra. I'm keeping it under wraps for now, but let's just I know I can beat him. I'll say that.
Oh yeah, no pressure, no
Well, I
pressure
mean,
to yeah, share any of that info. Like we're not gonna push any of that. Like
yeah.
I
So,
said the same thing in my last podcast, so Jake's gonna come after me now.
uh
well, that honestly, that would actually be a pretty interesting match. I do think I would actually go Dragon Slayer for that, because well,
I would.
Hydra can't really drive. not well. So
A little slow. I think it's a well-driven robot. It's just it's sluggish.
it
I
just
think
won't
it's
be the same
because
as
the
before.
ground game is played so hard.
We have had Jake.
Yeah,
We
ground
have had
game's
Jake
kind of
Ewart on the podcast a
boring.
few times, and it's always a fun
We
ride.
don't talk about that.
Well, I can talk. I'll talk about. I would talk about parts of it because like yeah,
Yeah, but not that
like
part.
yeah, not that one at least that you're probably referring to,
Are you
but
talking about the one where he said the thing about the udder gun?
No, I'm
I don't
talking
even
about
know. I don't even know
No,
what
the
you're.
No, I think it's there was this time where we were interviewing Jake Ewart and Blaze just like popped in, made a dick joke, and like left the chat. for the
That's so
entire
Blaze.
podcast.
Wow.
Wow,
Am
I
I
wasn't
wrong?
I wasn't
Uddergun was
hoping to
Uddergun was
expose I
Finn.
wasn't hoping to expose Blaze, but
No, no.
No,
There
but
was
you were recording. No, yeah, I didn't pop in. I was in the entire time. I
But
just
you were like not
this was
talking
back
at
when I
all.
was a D. Back when I didn't talk.
I was talking about where somebody, I think it was
No, that was Spin.
Spin Doctor, yeah, Spin
Yeah.
asked if you could. He was asking about the otter gun, and then Jake, first thing he says, he goes, "No, you can't put your dick in it."
oh my
That
gosh,
was the
yes,
first thing he said about it. Yeah, and I was baffled. You know, I was
yeah.
lost, dazed.
What? Why?
I'm only telling you you can't for legal reasons. You know that, right?
Yep.
True.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
so true.
All
So
right.
true.
Well, I
So
mean,
true.
you can't stop us.
Oh,
Wait, can he?
no.
Wait.
I'm gonna stay away from
let's
this
see.
topic. I don't think we need to talk about this, but
We
Do
don't
I
need
need
to
Yeah.
to
talk
buy
about the
one and do the
Uddergun.
research?
The people need to.
Yeah.
I feel it.
yeah, but yeah, we had a
We're
lot of
having fun.
fun both times Jake was on the podcast. Like yeah, he was
Right.
very entertaining to talk to, and yeah, it was nice. It was nice. It was nice to hear him clear up a lot of the Hydra controversy from especially their first round fights. It's there in the brackets, and
The preliminaries, and then probably the 5 of tantrum too.
yeah. Well, we didn't have him on. We didn't have them
Alright.
on
Didn't we
there
have
for
him
the.
before the
Again,
tantrum
I
fight?
was talking at the time.
He wasn't on. He wasn't on for
Yeah.
the tantrum
We
fight,
he
but
was in for
yeah,
he was
I
in
did
for
a
the Black Dragon. That's the last one I did.
of
Can I ask one more question?
Go
course.
ahead.
All right. What bot are you most afraid of? Other than the two you named.
If we're talking in terms of season 6 with the same setup again, I would. There's a lot of horizontal spinners on that list because we weren't properly equipped to deal with them. Really, those wedges weren't made for that. There was an anti-horizontal wedge we were supposed to bring with us, but there was some confusion, I think, between our water jetter / welder on what kind of wedges we were supposed to have. So we basically ended up getting 3 of the exact same design. It's the same convex shape on the floor dragger plate. The only difference was one of them had the curved trusses, and then excuse me, 2 of them had curved trusses. One of them had the straight ones that went straight down. There was one that was a flat, well, it was an angled plate pushed out past the weapon that was supposed to be able to deal with them. We didn't have it, right? Because those wedges were delivered to us like days, the 2 of them were like days before the event, and the third set of wedges we had was like the day we left. The day we left to drive to Vegas, we got it, right? So we had to, we just, we had to work with what we had. I mean, we were on a tight schedule to begin with because we got accepted for season 6 as an alternate. Got the acceptance call, I think, 40 days from the beginning of the show, whereas everyone else who was in the original accepted were like 90 days out. So big difference there.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely. That's crazy. Yeah, Blaze. Hopefully that.
Go on to,
What's that, Blaze?
yeah. I said that they were fun to see.
Oh yeah,
And I want to see them.
absolutely.
They guys have potential. Unlike Deadlift.
Oh Come on, man. This-
Yeah, Pory's excited for the next episode. But
Deadlift sweep, baby.
Dude, deadlift's going
Haha.
out round one. Rip Boza, round one.
Deadlift's gonna win
Gone.
the whole thing, and then they're gonna win the
Night night.
golden goal tournament.
Deadlift night night round one. It's gonna be crazy.
Man, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
What's funny is
Because Jamie
next
White lost round one.
next
No,
week.
yeah, it was actually round 5, dude.
Yeah, it was round one for it.
I mean,
Yeah,
next
round 5.
like literally next
Nope.
week when we do this episode review podcast, either one of Pory, Blaze, or Civilian Arc is gonna get made fun of, or Mantine and I are gonna get made fun of over
Dude.
that fight. And
Dude, I'll be here because I know who's going
I
up.
don't
There's
know
no
which one
fucking
to pick.
chance.
I
Deadlift
thought
wins
they were going with the clamp, like the clamp arm. But now that I know that they are, I don't know what to think.
up.
On the one
Deadlift fan's
hand,
gonna be on hard
the
copium
clamp is
next
definitely
episode.
helpful. On the other hand, it's a lot bigger of a turret.
fair.
But one thing's first turret in Big Deal. So
Yeah, I can't wait for the return of Big Deal next week. It should be exciting.
Dude,
So
who's big dick fighter?
yeah,
Bloodsport.
Oh, dude, it's gonna get shit on.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's a rough matchup for Big Deal,
Yeah.
but like I'm still looking forward to it regardless.
Can I-
That's so because I love Big Deal. What were you saying, Blaze? Before we get to yeah,
that's not the most bizarre thing I have predicted.
fair.
Well,
Well,
I have
I'm gonna
Kraken
go
over Blade.
fair. Well, let's go
That's
ahead
a-
and get to Ice Wave and free shipping.
Oh, dude, speaking of drugs, Jason was on some hard copium on this fight right here. This is
Yeah.
this is a banger.
Yeah, I would probably have to agree. I was a little confused why the judge's decision for this one was split, but yeah, so back here with Ice Wave and
Yeah, I
free
don't know what the
shipping,
fuck that was
where
about.
yeah, Ice Wave's strategy was definitely to get the wheels of free shipping because, like, as Mark was kind of talking about in his pre-fight interview, I was kind of doubting he'd be able to get through and disable free shipping's drive. If with his spinner right there, he'd have to go for the wheels, and sure enough, that was their strategy. Well, it's like free shipping strategy is pretty much their usual strategy. Body their opponents, control the fight, and use a flamethrower every once in a while. So, and pretty much what we ended up seeing right here was an absolute driving war, which free shipping, I would say, definitely won that with Gary Jin's driving abilities. He definitely did exceptionally well in this fight. So, let everyone else here share their thoughts on that fight. And Jordan, you're absolutely welcome to get involved in this.
Yeah, so keep in mind I was a little intoxicated by the time this fight came around. I know it was only fight 2, but I work quick, you know. So I had people buying shots for me because our fight was first, and they were all like, "Man, that sucks. You want a beer?" And I'm like, "No, I'll take a rum and coke, though. I mean, those just shoot right through me." Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So for this fight, from what I remember, it was a little loud in the bar. They turned the sound off for this one, unfortunately. Um, from what I saw, you know, I Ice Wave was getting its good licks in as is usual for the beginning of the fight, but it's pretty rare that we see Ice Wave's weapon last the full 3 minutes if the fights do go that long, and we certainly saw it shut down in this one. Actually, noticed the turret thing that guards the gas engine was like it almost
Yeah.
rotated a full 360 degrees when it was coming
Yeah.
loose. That was interesting. I
Yeah.
was like, is it supposed to look like that? And then it kept moving. I'm like, no, it's not supposed to look like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, they I think they were getting the majority of hits in at first, not doing a great deal of damage. Still good licks though. And then after that weapon died, it was all free shipping. And of course, if you look at the scorecards, if you read it just black and white, drive and then your weapon system as a whole, if you lose one of those, your opponent hasn't lost either. The fight basically belongs to that opponent. So with free shipping's drive still going strong, still getting their flamethrower going and their lifts going on, I think it was fair that the fight did end up going to free shipping.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. Pory, Mantine, or Blaze, you three want to talk about this fight?
Yeah, I want to talk about it. Okay, so free shipping won that fight without a question, but I can kind of understand where Jason was coming from with that decision. But it doesn't really. I don't think Jason should be blamed for that. I think the faulty judging criteria should be blamed for that
I would
because
agree.
like free shipping can't really do a lot of damage. So maybe in his mind it was like 4-1 damage for Ice Wave, and then like Ice Wave has to get an aggression point because it used its active weapon and free shipping didn't, etc., etc. And I don't know. I still would have given it to free shipping without question, even with the faulty judging criteria. But I kind of get it. Other than that, the fight kind of went exactly how I expected it to. Free shipping going full original sin and just like bullying Ice Wave around. Not surprised by that. Shout out to Kenny for telegraphing the result of the fight before the fight happened. We love it when you do that.
I guess I never really noticed that, but
Because like
I would
throughout the
doubt. I
whole
wouldn't
fight,
doubt you're
Kenny
right.
spent like 3 minutes being like, "Is Ice Wave washed up? If Ice Wave loses this, it's all over." But like he was like very
Washed.
clearly implying that Ice Wave was gonna lose the fight. Like, bro, Kenny,
That's
chill out.
kind of how I felt. Like this was back when Endgame won. That Chris and Kenny were hinting to me that Endgame is
Yeah,
going to win when they were
they
when
did
they were
actually.
questioning was Endgame going to be the first international champion of Battlebots when Black
Yeah.
Dragon was still in the competition right there, who was also an international team. And
Yeah, they do that. Which I mean, yeah, okay, I get it, but at the same time, it's you know, kind of. I guess I would have been more bummed if it was a fight. I was pretty sure free shipping was gonna win that anyway, because
yeah,
as much as I do like Ice Wave, it's a cool robot. It is kind of an outdated concept, like the ice thing. Like sadly, the thing that I think would make Ice Wave competitive again is the thing that makes it unique, the ice. It would just be Wave then, but you know,
Wave.
it's okay.
Make it electric, make it shockwave. That's
Yeah,
tame
there you
though.
go.
Thunderwave. Shout out Smash Bros, dude. Thunderwave. There you go. That's it. Dude, there you go. Fixed.
Yeah, there you go.
uh,
But yeah,
It's
that's
genius.
all I got.
Mantine or Blaze, either of you two got anything you want to mention about this
Oh,
fight?
yeah, man. I'm pretty sure it was Zaza who paid Jason to make that fight even close. He didn't have enough money to pay you. Ice Wave, outdated. I don't think anybody's shocked about that. Really, it was Jason was smoking the hard copium. Couldn't really accept it. I don't. I get it. We all love Ice Wave, but it's a bit washed. Um, I'm not at all surprised by what happened in that fight. Ice Wave. What did surprise me is Ice Wave got up to speed. I didn't think it would get up to speed. It did, and even when it did get up to speed, it did do shit. But it still got up to speed, and it was more than I thought was going to happen. So fair play. Um, I'm really disappointed by Ice Wave. I was kind of hoping that they were hyping up this new engine for the entire off season, and then it didn't do shit, which was really sad. But I
This is
don't
the
know.
first time that they've been sponsored by their engine manufacturer too, Husqvarna, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
that definitely
Uh,
sounds about right. Because, yeah, I know they were looking to try out a lot of that stuff in the Black Dragon fight, but then after a lot of the failures from that Black Dragon fight, they ended up reverting back to the older versions. And, yeah.
uh,
You got
One thing
anything?
nobody's mentioned yet either. Iceway spent a good amount of time on the shelf. You guys remember that?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought they
yeah.
were going to get counted out. They were
That's
up
what
there for
I
so
thought,
long.
too, to be
Yeah.
honest. You got anything to
there
say,
is there
Blaze?
is a possibility, however, that maybe like one of the refs did tell Mark like, "Hey, I'm going to count you out," because sometimes they do edit that out. I
That's
heard.
true, too.
I could be wrong. I mean, I wasn't there, so maybe I'm wrong.
Refs will typically tell you anytime you do something that requires any sort of countdown. They'll usually tell you right away.
Hmm.
Only time that happened with us was during the fight with Duck. After we were pushed into the corner, we hit them and kind of pushed them into the corner. John leaned over to me and he says, "Hey, that's a pin. You've got 10 seconds, right?" So
Okay.
they'll try to tell you right away.
Gotcha, yeah. Blaze, you got anything you want to say? about
He
this one?
should be right back.
Oh, okay. But yeah, anybody else here have anything to say about Icewave free shipping? So yeah, I felt that was a pretty straightforward fight. I felt it was going to go to free shipping. I think Pory definitely convinced me and made me understand a little bit more why it was split, but I still felt it probably should have been a unanimous decision.
Oh yeah,
But
no doubt.
yeah, what Pory definitely said involving that like makes me like a little less confused on why Jason voted Icewave for that one. But yeah, anything else on this fight then, or should we get to Blaze's favorite fight of the episode?
I mean, we
Uh,
love Jason Dante Barudisu.
no.
You know, everything's
Uh,
good.
What?
Okay, we're gonna
What
get
is
to
I
we're gonna
want.
get
your
we're gonna get to,
favorite
we're gonna get
Hold on.
to
movie?
Blaze's favorite fight now.
I do want to say, I think this is the
Oh
first
no,
time that
no,
Reddit.
no,
I
no!
want to
I
say,
hate you.
I do feel like this is the first time in a while. It should be said. I don't think I've ever seen this happen before until now. Reddit was right. Never seen that before. Isolate this
Wait,
lost.
what?
First time I've ever seen Reddit be correct. So
What
shout out to
Reddit?
Reddit.
What
What?
about Mammoth Retrograde?
No, about Isolate being washed. It was the first time
Oh,
I think
okay.
I've ever seen Reddit be correct about something.
No, I think just because it's Reddit, they're objectively
Yeah.
incorrect just because of that.
That is a very valid point, Mr. Pory Nog.
Yeah.
I will, fair enough.
Well, anyway,
All right.
to Blaze's favorite fight here. Well,
I hate
sarcastically,
you.
but yeah. So we got Mammoth and
Highlighted.
Retrograde for this one. This one ended up being highlighted, but Battlebots has a video
Yeah.
uploaded onto their Facebook and to their YouTube of this full fight. So yeah, if you haven't seen that
Yeah.
yet, go ahead and check it out. But this was a much more entertaining fight than what I thought it was going to be, actually. Because one thing that really pleased me about this one is Retrograde worked so much better than they have in many of their previous fights. Because, like, the lifter was working well, the undercutter was working very well in that fight, and is almost certainly what won them the fight. And we also got to see the flamethrower working for the first time too, which was quite a sight to see. And yeah, it was definitely an unusual opponent for Retrograde being Mammoth, and definitely Retrograde I felt drove this fight great. Like I felt their driving
Yeah.
was definitely on point, and they did a very good job on this one. So I'll go ahead and
Yeah.
leave the floor to everyone else here. Let everyone
Yeah.
share their thoughts on this
Oh,
fight.
Yeah. So
okay.
I was
No,
correct about some aspects of this fight, and I was incorrect about some aspects of this fight. I did say that this was gonna be like the most boring fight on earth. I mean, it did get highlighted, but the fight really wasn't that bad. And one thing we did say on the predictions podcast was we were both leaning Mammoth, but we both said if that horizontal spinner actually works, Retrograde could definitely win it. So we were right on that aspect, and it was nice to see the robot work. I like the concept of Retrograde, and I'm happy to see it reach its full potential. I think, and honestly, if it worked like this, it probably would have gotten fed to Hydra to give Hydra a free spot in the bracket.
It probably would have.
Had it actually functioned correctly. But even if it functioned correctly, maybe it would have had a little bit of a chance against Hydra. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, the fight was fine. Mammoth lost Retrograde, and you got to see Retrograde shine, and you love to see a robot that was kind of ignored and didn't make TV a lot. Right. By the way, this is 3 fights that Retrograde had that didn't make TV. Fun fact.
They had the most out of anybody.
Yeah.
Get highlighted.
Yeah, definitely, which was a
sad.
bit unfortunate. Blaze, you got anything you want to say about this fight?
All right. I know how I was saying before the podcast that Mammoth was robbed. He wasn't, sadly. I mean, credits where credits due. Retrograde did really good in the fight. I do think if Mammoth wasn't smoking at the end, like didn't have the drive issues, I think Mammoth probably would have won the fight. Just saying. But yeah, I love Mammoth. I'm never making a forfeit again, and mayo sandwiches suck. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
all
had
I'm
that
saying.
bet. Yeah,
I did. I did. Hey, unlike Corey, Steve, I actually did it.
if you haven't checked out Blaze's channel, Blaze made a bet that if Mammoth lost to Retrograde, he would eat a mayo sandwich, and he does have a video up on
Yeah,
his
okay. I
YouTube
will say
channel
one
of
thing. I
that.
didn't eat the mayo sandwich. I didn't eat the mayo sandwich.
Oh,
I took a bite though, but I
that's
physically
fair.
couldn't eat anymore, or else I probably would have thrown up.
Pussy!
You tried eating the mayo, and also you're not feeling well.
Oh man.
Love mayo.
It's just mayo and just a sandwich. That's it. Nothing
Yeah, do you
else.
get
It
mayo
sucked.
sandwiches on the daily?
I don't. I was also okay. And then again, it probably was old. I should have waited a week or two because I wasn't really feeling that well on the day that I did it. So yeah,
Fair.
I'll probably redo it.
Fair.
Actually, eat it.
Man,
Yeah, I'm not
Mantine,
doing
you
it again.
or Blaze, you. What were you saying, Blaze?
I'm not making a forfeit again.
Fair.
Sucks.
I think Cordy learned his lesson too about those things after he lost two of them straight, and one of the first one was the funny, the more entertaining, the one that was probably least likely to actually occur. And Mantine, you want to talk about this fight then?
Oh, Mammoth Retrograde, man. Jesus, dude, Mammoth, get your shit together. Good God, this is brutal. You go from shitting on huge to this. Absolutely, L tier fight. This is terrible.
Yeah, like I'm curious. I'm curious what happened to Mammoth that caused them to lose their weapon, because I'm pretty sure they didn't lose a chain from what I watched in that fight. I might have not seen any. I might have missed it or something like that. But
I distinctly remember the chain staying on, but the weapon just seemed to have stopped spinning.
yeah, I'm guessing it was some sort of impact between that horizontal spinner right down there. But I don't know for sure. But because though it was kind of a disappointing loss for Mammoth, I felt, but a really good redemption for Retrograde, because like started off with a reasonable win over Rampage, and then had their fight with
Whoa.
Huge delayed, where they got their butt kicked in that fight.
I'm just
Then
gonna say one
not many
thing.
hours later, then fought Defender, where lots of their aspects of that robot just didn't work in that fight, and then came to this one and was total redemption because it was working, like it was in tip top shape. So, what were you about to say, Blaze?
I don't think there's a bot that can't beat Rampage, except maybe Triple Crown,
Dude,
but
Rusty.
I hope fucking don't. I hope the Rampage got like an exhibition fight or something, and it just like shits on whoever, like absolutely blasts opponent. That would just be that.
I hope so
doesn't
too,
it have one against
cause like
Mammoth?
when I did my podcast talking about the competitive field for this year, I had my gut feeling that Rampage is going to get a victory this season, and yeah, so far it hasn't
I hope
happened,
not.
and yeah, I want to see that robot get at least one victory. Yeah, and
From what's been rumored against Mammoth, and I don't want Mammoth to lose again. So
Dude, imagine if fucking Mammoth fought Rampage and lost. Blaze, you'd be forever gone. You might just
yeah,
ask. That'd be
A lot of brown on screen.
yeah.
Oh man, that was a good one. But yeah, anything else about this fight then, or should we get to round two? No, we still got one more fight following this one actually.
I forgot about
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, one of the
we
greatest.
got those two robots left, but yeah,
Mhm.
either way, it was a great victory by Retrograde. Definitely a
Yeah,
big
but
shining moment for them. And who did they take on
yeah,
between?
it didn't make TV.
Yeah, it's too bad this one didn't make TV because I really did like this fight. Okay, last fight of the first round. Retrograde would take on the winner of these two, Gruff and Glitch. So, yeah, I think this one's pretty straightforward as for the strategy of these two robots. And like personally, I liked Retrograde and Mammoth better than this one. in my opinion. I think that this one probably got televised because like Glitch was 3-0 in the regular season. Unfortunately, dropped out from the top 32, and Gruff's a fan favorite. So,
And
but
Glitch, of course, was your eventual winner,
Oh.
so it makes
Yep,
sense
that
they had to
too.
put this
How
one
is
on.
That
Gruff a
too.
fan favorite?
Yeah.
How do
The
people like
narrative.
Gruff?
Gruff became a fan favorite after the Tombstone fight, lasting the full 3 minutes there in 2019. I felt, and
I mean, I don't
Yeah,
want to be
but
that
then it
guy,
kind of
but I
fell off.
mean, they gave Gruff a free spot in the round of 32 last year after he lost to Extinguisher. So yeah, it's a
yeah,
fan favorite.
Big
yeah,
True. True.
yeah. But
Um,
yeah, this fight kind of went down the way I expected it to, but the first thing I want to say is like referencing my prediction podcast. Thankfully, I didn't get any hate for this. I mentioned that I was really concerned that we were going to see another glitch dropout by chance, just because I've heard how tough it is to manage that robot. I am super happy that I was wrong about that because like that's such a lame way to go out, and like it's something I don't want to happen to like anybody. And like it sounded like from Glitch's pre-game plan for this one, they were very well prepared for this thing towards getting ready for all their fights, and I'm super glad they were, and I'm super glad we got to see that robot in action for all those fights. So okay, so then now that that talk's over with, why don't you guys go ahead and talk about the fight? I'll leave the floor to you for.
this was the. Poor, you want to go?
You can go ahead.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate it. This was the fourth movie in the series of people killing themselves on Glitch. This was not my favorite episode of this series that's been ongoing for some reason. I definitely say that goes to the Kraken episode. That was great.
Episode.
Kraken committed some excellent suicide. Glitch definitely not as entertaining in its attempt to glass itself on Glitch just by running into it over and over again, even though they have the mobility to get around Glitch, completely avoid that. No, they didn't. They just ran right into it, which, was always great to see because fucking everybody does it now. It's a trend. It's like a fucking TikTok trend, dude. Everybody does it. All the kids are doing it.
Crazy how
I don't know,
it kind of
man.
is a trend.
But yeah, I know. It's fucking wild. Glitch just did nothing. It didn't move. I mean, Glitch on its own is a very interesting robot, and its weapon is absolutely fucking nuclear when it hits something. But I think their gimmick of being low and having a good weapon is fine. You can just put regular wheels on there and have actual mobility and be like a solid bot on its own. But no, they had to try to add this fucking gimmick. It doesn't work, so it relies on other robots driving into it and killing themselves. But they keep doing it, so they're not gonna learn anything. They're just gonna keep fucking. This fight made me upset. It was just glitch. Glitch didn't do anything. Gruff drove horrible. They just drove into the weapon over and over again. And then, did they die at the end? Does anybody know if they were dead at the end or were they
I
just
don't think they were
Uh,
dead at the
gassed?
end, but I know they were crab walking for like the last third of the fight.
Well, I don't think they could self right because they got flipped at the very last. Like I think even
Yeah.
after the bell, it got flipped. I don't know if they could self right at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was talking about. Because it looked like it was just dead on its fucking back, and I didn't know if it was still working or they just didn't want to self ride it because it was after the fight. But yeah, Glitch absolutely fucking uppercutted the shit out of it at the end, and I didn't know if it. I think it happened after the bell, so I don't really think it mattered. And the whole fight was already glitches anyway, so that didn't really surprise me. But I don't know. It was a very uninteresting fight. That Glitch had some interesting hits in, so good job to Glitch, but you just got to get that mobility sorted out, man. It's so rough to watch.
Pory or Blaze.
Right, me. Hi. Yeah, this fight happened. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's
I
so
didn't
true.
think- thank
That's
you.
fair. Blaze, you got anything?
No, not really.
Fair enough, but yeah, I kind of wonder
It
if
just
I
happened.
kind of wonder if Gruff was going head on to like test the vertical spinner, and kind of see if Glitch would have like lots of the mobility problems they were having, especially in the Ghost Raptor fight or something. And just because like Gruff put a lot more weight into their durability for this season, but I do agree with Mantine. I think that was probably the wrong way to go at it for taking on Glitch, because like definitely Glitch's big weakness is their drive. Like yeah, because I know several robots were looking to take advantage of that. Like all of Glitch's upcoming opponents took advantage of that and try to get to the backside to avoid that vertical spinner. But Gruff definitely was not exactly doing that. I feel they probably should have tried to do that because like I feel because like they did definitely have some pretty solid control moments, and I would definitely say Gruff was the more aggressive robot in this one, but definitely going head on with Glitch just wasn't working for them in this one, and it definitely proved costly because they got flipped a few times. They lost drive on one side eventually, and yeah, I'm not sure how much damage the flamethrowers did, because I know they did get many opportunities to use them in this fight, but yeah, Glitch was still rocking and rolling throughout this one, and I'd say this judge's decision was definitely theirs to win. So, yeah. Anything else from anyone on this fight, or should we get to round two? Round two.
Sounds like a round two.
Round two. Okay, Uppercut and Free Shipping, a rematch from earlier in the season where we got to see Uppercut set off the fuel tank of Free Shipping and rip them apart in that one. They got a rematch here where, yeah, I think Uppercut's strategy was pretty much about the same as it was last time. I would say Free Shipping's was probably about the same too. It's just they had different configuration up front from what they had the first time, but I gotta say, while the fuel explosion was definitely cool in this one, I was a bit disappointed in this fight as well, cause like I said, while that explosion was cool, Free Shipping died after that first hit the Uppercut got on the
Wasn't as
front of it.
cool as the last fuel explosion.
That I would agree too, cause like
The sequel's
yeah.
never as good as the original.
Yeah, even I'd say the first fuel explosion from that wasn't as good as when they set off the fuel tank on Sawblaze. I think part of the thing was
Yeah.
I'd say part of it though was the fact that I don't think any of us were expecting that Uppercut was gonna blow up the fuel tank of Sawblaze compared to the Free Shipping one where they showed off that explosion in the trailer. And so we all knew it was going to happen. And yeah, so Mantine, Blaze, or Pory, you guys want to talk about Uppercut and Free Shipping?
This one was like an abridged or like a highlighted version of the first one. It was
Yeah.
literally just like the highlight reel of the first one. It just
Crazy.
took out all of the
Crazy how you're probably right about that.
Yeah.
I mean, weirdly enough, it felt like to me like the explosion was kind of whatever. I already knew that was gonna happen. But the butane spraying out of Free Shipping was kind of cool to see. Cooler than the explosion
That was
itself for
funny,
some
yeah.
reason. Yeah, seeing the butane spew out and then the explosion for some reason made it
Yeah.
cooler to me. I don't know why. Just seeing like it kind of, I don't know. It was just interesting.
Yeah. One correction I want to make, Green. Sawblaze uppercut explosion was in the opening montage of season 5, but
Guess I
it
didn't
was like
notice that.
it was like a less than a second long clip though. Like the only people who would have really noticed it are like certain crazy people we know who don't actually watch Battlebots. They just want to find out the champion like 2 months before it airs. But
Reddit.
yeah, the Reddit crowd.
I guess I didn't. I guess I didn't
uh,
notice that, but I'm glad I didn't notice that because
I
it's
didn't
always
I didn't
better.
notice it either.
It's always better to be surprised about something that's gonna happen than.
I noticed
Yeah.
it. I noticed it like when the season was done airing, and I rewatched it. I'm like, oh, they did show it in the beginning, okay? Because I wasn't really paying too much attention. But anyways, yeah, this fight, it was disappointing to see Free Shipping die in like 2 hits. I was hoping they'd put up more of a fight, get vengeance.
Yeah, man. I mean, Free Shipping is a bot that's known for its durability, and I feel like seeing it
exactly.
literally a one shot is really just not on brand.
And plus I wanted vengeance because I love Free Shipping. My website is on free shipping. So
Yeah, both times free
I have
shipping and
stake in
uppercut.
this.
Both times free shipping and uppercut fought. I did pick free shipping to win, and
Yeah, me too.
yeah, it was disappointing to see free shipping die like that. Because like we saw uppercut get one hit on the front of the wedge, and you could tell free shipping was not moving at that point. Then uppercut went right to the sides and hit the flamethrower once again, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was still really unfortunate, especially with all the hype with their durability that we've been seeing all season. And yeah, I'm not sure what happened exactly. Not sure if you would know, Jordan, and like knowing you were probably in the pits at least during that time or something like that. But my guess would be, as for what happened, it would be maybe free shipping lost power or something, but I'm not certain.
Could you beat free shipping?
I think I saw a panel open up there when they hit him. Something definitely sheared off. I think they could have easily reached a wire in there, or that explosion could have. I mean, it's a fucking explosion. You know, who knows what that killed on the inside of it. But one thing I have to say about this fight on this side of the bracket is to go full Alex Jones mode. But I think this side of the bracket was set up in a way where if Uppercut were to beat us, would be guaranteed to go up against either shipping, of course, highly flammable tank. It's happened before. We know what happens, and then Ice Wave, the other robot available to fight that has explosive in it.
I agree with
think
you.
they set it up this way deliberately to where they would beat us, and then they could use that kind of, oh, are they gonna fight Ice Wave, or are they gonna fight fucking free shipping, and who's gonna explode this time? I think that it was absolutely set up in that kind of way.
Boring.
No, I mean,
And then
you're
there would
probably
be
right, man.
Gruff on
I
the other side in case if Gruff was to get to the finals. Because if Gruff did take out Glitch, they would almost certainly they would probably win against Retrograde or Mammoth to get
Retrograde
there.
has a flamethrower too.
Yes, that too.
Yeah, that's true.
Here's my take. And I'll eat Subway if it doesn't happen. If Gruff and Uppercut both get into the next season, I bet they fight in Fight Night at some point.
I wouldn't doubt. I wouldn't doubt Pory's right about that. If
because they want to milk those uppercut explosions. They love that stuff.
oh yeah, definitely.
Half the robots in this bracket are fucking
Flammable.
explosive or volatile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's uppercut.
Exactly.
Uppercut's just volatile on its own. It doesn't need fire. It might just blow up, or parts wise and flammable blow up. It'll just hit something and explode.
Yeah, and then the only other robot that's blown up a fuel tank like that would be Cobalt when they got to Gruff's fuel tank, but it wasn't anywhere near as big as any of the stuff that Uppercut's done so far. And yeah, I think there's no doubt that Uppercut's. I guarantee they're gonna set Uppercut up with another robot. They can set off whose flamethrower they can set off once again, and
of course
I wouldn't doubt Pory's right about that too. If
I mean,
yeah, so and so.
All BattleBots fights, and again, not to get as he said, not to get Alex Jonesy here, but I mean, all BattleBots fights to some extension are somewhat rigged, right?
Yeah.
I mean, not rigged, but they're selected by quote unquote selection committee, and I mean, usually it's just some sort of hypershock bite force that doesn't happen naturally 5 to 4 times. I mean, eventually.
It has history.
Yeah, exactly. All these brackets are set up with robots that are somewhat. There's a few robots, that are somewhat competitive with the gatekeeper. They're none of them are all really great robots. They've got some really high tiers, some mid tiers, and then some low tiers sprinkled in. They do that on purpose. I mean, yeah. Every fight is not rigged, but every fight is selected to have a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's not at all far fetched to say. I think I think that's pretty accurate, actually.
Definitely.
All right.
Anything else on uppercut and free shipping?
Turn.
Go ahead, Blaze.
All right. I forgot Uppercut had a mini bot. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah.
I thought that
Helping
we all
hand.
do.
off that
Yep,
a
helping
long
hand.
time ago.
To add on to
wasn't the
Mantine's point. Oh, sorry, Blaze. I didn't know you were done. Sorry.
yeah.
Keep going, please.
Okay. Uh, well, wasn't the last time we saw a helping hand like against Breaker Box? I think. If I remember right.
It was that season, I think.
Yeah, that's kind of what I
Yeah.
would expect too, because I don't think we've seen the minibot in any of their other fights, but I could be mistaken.
I don't think so.
They've
Well, we
ran-
saw
they've
the
ran enough
the
of them.
battle box mini box when it Hydra.
That
Yeah.
was Uppercut who had the toy
Yes.
battle box with wheels.
Yep.
as a
Yeah.
mini-bot, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then Hydra flipped it
Mhm.
up into the air, I'm not sure if they got it into the ceiling or anything like that, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did. But
But
That was comedy.
I wanted to add to Mantine's point to the conspiracies. We're getting conspiratorial here.
sure.
If you look at
Not
pretty much,
again.
if you look at virtually almost, I'd say 95% of the fights that happen in BattleBots, if you think deep enough, there's like a low key reason to it. Like
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like season 4, Yeti draws Rainbow, and everyone's like, why the hell does this happen? They did that because it was like, haha, Alaska versus Russia. You know, Retrograde versus Defender. It was like B team lifter bots that are kind of struggling. Like they have a narrative behind pretty much almost any fight. I would
Even
say.
like
man.
Deep Six and Pain Train, like they want to see Deep Six wreck a robot, and Pain Train is probably one of those
Yeah.
robots that Deep Six would almost certainly
Deep
wreck.
Six
Sorry,
bot-
Pory.
I mean,
you know, Pain Train will make a come back as Shredded Pro, and they'll do a deep run, and it'll be really cool.
and
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, we get your jokes. Okay.
the reason that like the reason I think this, and part of my thinking and just knowing how this works comes from actually working behind the scenes in BattleBots Reborn. I know that every fight we
Yeah.
do is like there's some sort of weird connection, like Tombstone, Death Star, both of them. Rick Russ made Death Star, and he's on Tombstone now. Okay, we can make that a fight, like they look for very small, sometimes
Yeah,
insignificant things. There's some sort
and
of
they
purpose.
also really like to do like references to other competitions. Like
Yeah.
Quantum versus Death Roll was not a coincidence. It was like, oh, these two
yeah.
robots did good runs in King of Bots. Let's make them fight in battle. Like they also like to do rematch. Like if Orion shows up next year, it's fighting Cobalt in the fight night. I mark my words, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Like they love to have narratives like that.
And one thing that I've also noticed from working in Reborn is that if you can't find, and for most things you can find a correlation, but if you can't find a correlation for a fight, it's probably because it matched all the other correlations together, and what you have left is the fights that you get that you can't make a correlation for.
Probably.
It's just the throwaways, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Like,
probably not.
what would be an example of a throwaway for like just any?
I'd maybe say
Yeah.
Whiplash and Scorpios, maybe.
No, Scorpios and Whiplash had the whole like they're very similar and like they're both extremely durable and stuff.
Control bots, durable.
Yeah.
That's fair. You're not wrong about
And
that.
plus, like Scorpios, according to Reddit, Scorpios was like what, like the 5th or something like that. I don't remember.
They both.
But they were like very high, and Whiplash was right above them. So
They also
that's
both
probably
have-
another reason.
They both have pedophile fork setups, so maybe that had something to, come into it.
I like how Mantine termed that.
Oh, you guys want to see? Hold on, I have to go get a screenshot of the list of wedges. Hold on, you guys.
Oh my
gosh.
god! I need.
You guys
Oh,
keep
no.
going. Let me find the wedge list.
Here, while he does that, let's get to Retrograde and Glitch.
Retrograde was loud.
Okay, so Retrograde and Glitch, and like I was telling before we started this podcast that crazy how my favorite fight of the episode ended up being Retrograde and Glitch. Like, I'd say this was a really solid showing, honestly, from both robots. Like, Retrograde once again did an amazing job driving in this match, despite all the damage they took. Retrograde's definitely the first robot to take advantage of Glitch's drive issues, because we saw him get to the backside and hit them with the horizontal spinner multiple times. But then when Glitch managed to get the egg beater spinner involved, they definitely did a bunch of vicious damage in this one. And Yeah, we'll talk about the judge's decision in a little bit. I was going to say something about that, but we'll talk about that near the end of this segment. What do you three got on this fight other than without talking about the judge's decision, because we'll talk about that in a little bit.
I was gonna say that goofball decision I will never let go. I don't know. I mean, Retrograde. This is a very interesting episode of Kill Yourself on Glitch because uh, this episode actually had like a lot of ups and downs. You know, you had like the rising action of Retrograde actually driving around the very obvious big dark spinner that's in the front that everyone can see, but they all ignore for some reason. So it was a little bit of a drawn out. It was
Well,
like
they
a
all
special.
really
It's
won.
a special episode because Retrograde actually got an armor panel off. They went around, and then Retrograde actually got so fucking bored that they drove into the weapon out of pure spite and boredom, and then lost because of it. It was truly a great fight. Amazing episode.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
It was a great fight, and then it got even better when Jason took another hit of the crack pipe, and then Retrograde lost.
That's
So,
hilarious.
that was a good one. Yeah, it was great, man.
Yeah, I have some thoughts about this fight.
Go ahead,
It
Pory.
was a fight.
You know, it was a fun fight. If you told me like 2 months ago that Retrograde was gonna fight Glitch and I was gonna think that Retrograde won it, I'd be like, what's going on here? But they definitely held their own, and quite frankly, I definitely think Retrograde should have won. But like, it was close enough that it was like, who cares? And I mean, I love Glitch, and Retrograde's growing on me. I like the ablative wheel approach they went with the hidden wheels. I like that a lot. That's
That was
very
cool.
And fun fact, Retrograde put up a better fight against Glitch than Hydra, Kraken, Ruff, Uppercut,
True.
Rotator.
It's funny.
That's
It's
pretty
funny
big
how
on their part.
it's funny how the robots that did the best against Glitch were Retrograde and Ghost Raptor.
That's what I'm saying, because like
Based,
fucking
yeah.
Retrograde is the only robot that didn't just dive headfirst into a fucking concrete wall. They just didn't swan dive into it. They actually went in and they got fucking bored because Glitch can't drive and lost. It
It's
was they were
hilarious.
so close to being the chosen ones. They didn't have the ego of having like a quote unquote good robot, so they didn't just go I can outwedge them and then eat shit. They actually just went in. They did good, and they fucked up one time and got absolutely blasted.
Yeah.
I was very worried when we saw Retrograde lose the one wheel because it looked like they were crab walking or something like that. But then when Glitch removed the other wheel, and then we noticed they still had drive, they still had wheels on the underside. Like, definitely made me feel a bit better because like Retrograde was without a doubt winning that fight until pretty much what Mantine said. They ended up challenging the weapon and Glitch started plucking off wheels. Then
I actually wonder if that was a tactical decision. Because I mean, to an extent, they were crab walking when they lost that first wheel because then they have three wheels touching the ground, two on one side and one on the other. So I wonder. Probably not, but here's the
Like if
game
they ripped off
theory.
the last wheel to balance it out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wonder if Retrograde then fed Glitch the other wheel so they had fine mobility again, and then
that's a fair point actually. Oh, what happened to Blaze? I'm guessing he left.
He said he got to go.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Blaze, if you're watching this, enjoy the rest of your night, man. So.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the judge's decision then. So, yeah, I know.
I think that the judges were definitely passing around the Hunter Biden pipe.
Yeah, there you go. Oh boy.
They all got a good hit in.
That's what I'm saying. That was a nightmare blunt rotation right there.
Yeah, absolutely. No kidding. I think three of those hits went to the judges, and then one went to Retrograde. I decided to go around the front of Glitch and hit the part you're not supposed to.
Yeah, that's
what
what
everyone seems to be making a trend out of. So when I think about these controversial outcomes of these fights, I think about it in terms of the black and white scoring, and that is they look at what you have left at the end of the fight. Is your robot still driving the way it did when it came into the arena, and is it still spinning? Right? You could argue that Retrograde did lose technically part of its drive, but did that really affect them in any way at all? You know,
Yeah.
if I made a robot that had 8 wheels, like there's one that I have in my head from the Comedy Central
Yeah,
one,
I don't
but
remember its name.
Yeah.
That was a
yeah,
runner-up before
New
it lost to
Cruelty.
right.
Tor. Yep, New
If
Cruelty.
I
Oh, New
a New
Cruelty,
Cruelty,
right?
if I took off with Dragon Slayer 2 of New Cruelty's wheels, is it fair to say that that would lose them the fight if they bullied me around for 2.5 minutes? No, it's still got 6 wheels, more than pretty much any other bot has, right? I know Retrograde only has 4 in total, but it didn't affect their ability to drive at all. I think for the most part they controlled most of that fight, and I think the issue is the lasting impression that is left is what robot is doing the best at the end of the fight. You know, sometimes they like to take into account, you know, the endurance of a bot. If you see a bot that loses mobility in the last like what 5 seconds, you know, it can instantly just shift the scales. And I think that was part of the issue that Retrograde had in winning that decision. But I think the biggest issue was that pipe going around.
They were lighting it on Retrograde's fire.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
was gonna say,
That's
yeah,
what.
definitely a good game theory for glitch wins by suicide again. I think that, Jason walked over there, hey, what's up, man? And they just hand, retrograde driver hand him the cracked pipe, takes a little puff, and then he drives right into the weapon. I think that's about what happened today, and I can,
Jason borrowed Isu.
yeah.
Yeah, so
You ever see that fanfic?
No, I haven't. Is that
Oh,
is that a
boy.
real thing?
Yeah, there's this guy who, if you
Oh.
go onto the wiki page on the BattleBots wiki of the Jason page, there's like 200 photos of Jason Bardis on there.
Oh
Because
gosh.
apparently he has like a super fan who like writes like fanfics where like him and Christian Carlberg are like anime characters, and like Doctor
What?
Inferno Jr. is like a hero. It's a really freaky rabbit hole.
Dude, holy shit, he's got 226
That's what
Jason
I'm saying.
Barden pictures.
Oh my
Holy
God.
fuck.
And a lot of them are like stalker level pictures. Like, oh, here's like Jason Bardis like eating ice cream, watching
Yeah.
like election results and stuff.
Wow.
Like, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
what the fuck?
Do you think with all of those pictures you can make a Jason Bardis 3D model like with the LA Noir cameras?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah,
I think
It's
easily.
gotta be possible with that.
My favorite picture is there's like a picture of him looking at Japanese Sega Saturn games. I'm like, damn, Jason Bardis is a vibe, man.
Dude, what the fuck? What is this? There's so many.
There's a
What
whole
the
fanfic
fuck?
about it, dude, with like artwork, with like fan art and stuff. There's like artwork of like Christian Carlberg as an anime guy and stuff. It's crazy.
What? They've got a picture of his shoes on. What is
Jeez,
What
whoever made that, like, I don't know what to say about that person, but yeah, kind of like my opinion on this judge's decision. Then I'm kind of with everyone else here. Like, if I was a judge, I would have given this fight to Retrograde, but like Pory said, it was a very close fight between these two. Like, I can definitely see where the judges were going, where when some of them scored it for glitch. So I'm not gonna go crazy about this one. Plus, I'm not gonna ignore that this was such an amazing fight between these two. Like, what I really don't like is when we see such an amazing back and forth fight like what we saw here. I felt, and then like people that are outraged about the decision that complain about it on social media ruin it for me. Like, for example,
Yeah,
what happened with Hydra and Tantrum, because like, yeah, while that fight was incredibly back and forth, there was a lot of disagreement with that judge's decision, and that's not fun to see. It kind of ruins it for me, unfortunately.
Definitely not.
But
I do.
regardless, my point though is I do think Retrograde should have won the fight, but I'm not mad about it. It was so close. It was a very close fight between those two. Like, this was an amazing fight regardless. Like, this was my favorite fight of the entire episode. So
I do have something serious to say,
What
but
do you
first
got?
I want to say the one comment on the Jason Bardis wiki page
Oh no.
by Bradley Boy was taken, and this is actually a post from 10 days ago, and the comment is 230 images is excessive. That's the one comment.
So you said wait a sec. You said it was Bradley that posted that.
Yeah, Bradley Boy was taken.
We know who
Yeah,
that
that's
is.
our
We
that's
know who
our
that
that's our
is
buddy.
too. That's
The what?
That's
He-
Smurf in Pory's server.
Yeah. He's the one that actually found the fanfics and stuff that I
Oh,
DM'd you with.
dude,
Yeah.
I gotta have a read. Those sound great. But on a serious note, I too agree that Retrograde won. This fight was definitely judged while under the influence.
Crack.
I feel like so I see where the BattleBots judges were going. You know, they tried to give Glitch more damage. I think is where they went. I think they went 4-1 because the wheels got ripped off. And I know wheels are a big deal. It hinders the drive, but the thing about this is that it didn't hinder them. You know, the wheels taken off was essentially cosmetic damage, which would mean that it was almost equivalent to the side panel they took off a glitch. So I think there could be a reasonable shout that damage can only be 3-2, and then obviously glitch got washed in the other two categories. Whether you want to give it 2-1 or 3-0, it doesn't matter. I feel like Retrograde definitely won both of them, probably even 3-0 on aggression, just because of
I bet 2-1
severe-
because like it's so hard to get a 3-0 in
Yeah,
aggression and
that's true.
control. Like I think
Yeah.
I think that's the whole reason why Hijinks got the victory against Kraken in there, just because it's so
Yeah.
hard to get a 3-0. Like one of the things I hope BattleBots changes with the judging criteria for future seasons is get all the
Points.
active weapon nonsense out of the aggression and the control categories. I don't think those two categories should have anything to do with the primary weapon, like how they do right
Mm.
now. And yeah,
I've
BattleBots, if you're
I've said
listening, that's one of my suggestions for how to make the judging criteria better.
Yeah, I've said to replace damage with I think they should replace damage with weapon effectiveness or not weapon usage, but like more so weapon effectiveness, so it's
That's
more
fair.
geared
Yeah.
toward, you know, anybody can enter and anybody can get points. I
Yeah.
don't think Trey and Greg realize that fucking people like things that aren't big spinners. And I mean, I get it, you know, big hits, big spinners, you know,
The
sparks,
casual
ooh, shiny.
stuff.
But I mean, you know, people like Hydra. You know, it's entertaining and it's not a spinner, which I know, shocking concept. But
Yep.
I mean, you know, people think it's a very interesting bot. And going back more so to this fight, going back to the judge's decision, I think I know how they scored it. I assume it was 4-1 damage because they thought that the wheels was big damage, and then the other ones were 2-1, which is the only way that I can imagine they scored this.
Yeah, that's kind of my guess as well, because like I feel aggression and control would definitely be 2-1 for retrograde, but then damage is kind of where I think that it was. Because like I know when I was talking with Miles in the BattleBots group chat, that's how he would have scored the fight. Basically, he would have done 2-1 on aggression control for retrograde, and then 4-1 on damage for glitch.
Yeah.
That'd be my
I
guess,
mean,
because like the other thing that I'm kind of wondering is it's possible also because like I feel a lot of the damage that retrograde even did like I feel like the damage retrograde did was a lot more major than what a lot of people thought too, because like that's what Miles was saying in our group chat as well on Instagram, where he called out that lots of damage retrograde did was cosmetic. It was not major or anything like that. I don't think that was the case at all, because I'm pretty sure Glitch had a wheel exposed after a couple of the hits that took onto the backside. And
But you could even technically argue that the retrograde damage was cosmetic because he was driving around
yeah,
just
that
fine
too.
after both wheels
yeah,
were
that's
ripped
what I'm
off.
saying.
Just
Well,
like yeah, there's a lot to take in consideration at the damage category, so yeah.
I think, unfortunately, with the criteria, there's something to be said about Glitch winning this fight, just because. I mean, they fucked the lifter up, and I guess the lifter is technically the primary weapon, quote unquote. And the damage that retrograde did was cosmetic, but just at least even mainly from a visual standpoint, looking at this fight, retrograde should have won, just throwing out any criteria, and that really shows the glaring issues with the criteria. Is because people, and you've heard a lot now. I'm sure people can people say, well, you look at the fight and this robot won, but due to the criteria, I can see why this other robot won, and it should never be like that. That is such a terrible thing to have, where you can say like, oh, obviously this robot won the fight, but because the criteria is so bad, we don't really know. It could be either one, and that's a really bad thing to have. I feel like.
Absolutely. So yeah, so that yeah, because like honestly, one thing I would yeah, because I know Jake was talking about on social media a couple of the changes he wants made to BattleBots, like two of the ideas that I remember him mentioning, one of them being after the fight ends, have the robot drive to their square to kind of like show like
That's
how
fair.
much damage did they take in that one, because like that would it's like that's one I would definitely be in full support of. The other one, the other, because like, I think it would be a good idea just to show how well the
No,
robot's
no,
driving after the match. But
no. It would be. It definitely. No, Pory just sent me something.
oh, but the other thing he mentioned, which I feel this would only solve stuff. I feel this would only solve stuff if they hired more judges for this. Have each judge focus on one category, kind of. But
Uh,
I would support
no.
that if if there were more judges to kind of like take a side on that one, kind of like
Yeah.
get an extra opinion. But
Yeah, so as far as the move back to your square thing, absolutely, they should 100% implicate that because that would give the judges a great idea on how to judge a fight. One judge per category, absolutely not. That would be terrible.
Yeah,
Truth
that'd
be
be
told.
horrible.
you got any opinions, Jordan, on any of that stuff?
I think they need to send the match for review to another state like they do in football. Well, I think that would fix a lot of these issues. I think they needed
Yeah, man.
to send it to another 24 states at least, and get some
I
opinions going
agree.
together.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
that's
They,
I think that's
that was
the
good.
only way to fix this.
they need to get me and the BattleBots Reborn boys on there.
oh, me.
We've
Why
never
not me as
except for
well?
except for Nick. You guys can come with me. Nick, I forget they're all shit. Actually, never mind. I'm it. You guys come
It'll be
with
just
me.
us,
We're placing. Yeah, well, just the boys. We can judge fights pretty
boys.
objectively.
Bet.
Me and the boys.
Also, yeah, Pori, this is a real rabbit hole, man. I don't know what the fuck's going on
I
right
wasn't
now.
All right.
You're
joking.
still looking at these pictures of Jason Martis.
I,
No, it's different now. So the person who found all of the Jason Bardis has a fucking deviant art, and it's just Jason Artis like weeaboo shit, and I'm so confused. I'm so
There's,
lost.
there's stories too. There's lore to this Inferno
Dude,
lab.
no way.
well,
Lore
anyway,
world.
anything else on this fight, or should we get to glitch and uppercut?
Good
Oh,
job.
dude.
Let's move
Yeah,
on.
let's get
Glitch
to
and
the
uppercut.
episode. What is this? Episode 6 of people kill
All
themselves
right,
on Glitch?
Mantine, what was the summary of that episode?
The last episode, it was definitely like the biggest minor villain thus far. I feel like it was the most entertaining fight of the whole series. I feel like it was well written. Retrograde got a little cocky. It did the whole thing in anime where they're like, "Dude, I finally won," and then they immediately get shit on within 10 seconds.
But then there's
Uh,
this one.
so there's this one. This one just made me sad. Honestly, this is a very emotional episode because we were like, oh, finally the hero's here to stop the immobile robot, and then they drove face first into it and they killed themselves. So a real letdown here. I feel like this is a very overhyped villain in this saga. Very very short, very sweet, or not very sweet actually, because I don't know. In all seriousness, Uppercut. I mean, I know Uppercut has their main strategy is just to drive into things, but Glitch literally wasn't moving at all. It had the option to go around. They could have. I think they were like, "Oh shit, they might start moving. Let's just hit them while they're not moving." But no, they couldn't move. I don't think. I mean, they rarely got around the arena in a coherent manner. I feel like even uppercut, slow ass, could have gotten around to the back and hit it, but they just chose not to, and I'm so lost.
The crazy thing, what I'm most disappointed in is like uppercut did get to the backside a few times, but I think the beginning of the fight, some of those early hits might have bent the wedgelets or something like that. Just because
Yeah.
like uppercut didn't have the reach to touch the backside of glitch is the problem. I kind of wonder if they went weapon on. I think they went weapon on weapon just because like trying to attack glitch from the backside just wasn't working for them. Even then,
Yeah,
like
you know
what
why
like
they attacked the You know why they attacked the weapon green?
why?
They got fucking bored, just like Retrograde did. They got fucking bored
I
of
mean, they
not
probably
being
did.
able.
They probably did get bored because they were
Yeah,
because now they weren't getting anything going from the backside. So, but
yeah, they weren't. They
and I
got
felt they were
bored.
most effective going weapon on weapon though, even though they kind of
Hey, dude.
died in the process. But
I can't exactly remember this fight. I just know that Glitch kind of beat the shit out of Uppercut for a little bit.
yeah,
Uppercut got a couple chip shots and didn't really do anything, and then they both died, and Uppercut sort of
yeah,
moved, but
uppercut
not
started
really.
crab walking again at one point, and glitch was either high centered or stuck on the floor or something.
Yeah, they were too busy passing around the crack pipe to even they would just count it
But
out.
what I
They were
will
just
say is, I'm even more confused why this judge's decision was split than the free shipping ice wave one.
I
I
kind
feel
of
like
get the argument. Um, it I think the big thing is that uppercut was lost drive on one side as it does, and it glitch didn't have drive at all. So like I think that was their mindset. Even though glitch's wheels were moving, it wasn't moving. So I think that was the argument to be made. That said, I still would have given it to glitch either way, especially with that hit that knocked off like the bottom panel of uppercut.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of like what sold me on the whole thing, and then it's just like double count out. Also, fun fact: uppercut is the first robot to win and lose a simultaneous knockout. Rare fact.
Ooh, that is true, actually. That's a good
Mm-hmm.
point, Pory. Is there really anything
no,
more we need to discuss about this one? What were you saying
Not
about
really.
Mantine?
no, this definitely wasn't really a very interesting episode of glitch suicide by glitch. So we can next episode talk about that one a
All
little bit.
right.
The climax of the series, I'd argue.
All right. Talk about the climax of this series, Mantine.
All right, well, coming into this fight, we'd really hyped up the main villain of the series since episode 1, since Glitch existed in this bounty. Rotator. Well, dude, it's so durable. It's the best horizontal in Battlebots, and then it gets fucking one shot by some shitter that came. I'll give Glitch credit in this fight. It actually squared up to Rotator. It still didn't. It wasn't aggressive in any aspect at all, but it actually stayed looking at Rotator for most of the time, which I can give them credit for. But another thing in this that really fucking baffled me was that Glitch didn't run their forks. Why didn't Rotator just like do what they did against Black Dragon and use the wedge? And I mean, it worked. Why didn't they even attempt that? They didn't even attempt to use any control. They got bored again, and they just drove at Glitch, and then Glitch absolutely fucking nuked it, and that was like 10 feet in the air. It was very entertaining, I'll say. The fucking blaster that he just got hit with was very entertaining.
Yeah.
Very overhyped boss fight. It was a pretty big letdown. Rotator did not have a lot.
I gotta be honest.
I'll let
Pory.
Pory, once you're done with that comment, explain what happened to Rotator because I feel like you'd
Well,
probably better explain it. You better explain it than I would.
Yeah. So I was this was a pretty crazy fight for me, and I was almost certain that Glitch was gonna lose this fight because, in my personal opinion, besides Ribot, of course, I would consider Rotator to be the best robot in the field because it just kind of has everything going for it. It's very durable. It's got a good weapon. It's got ground game. It's got a lot going for it, and I do think that if BattleBots stays on the air, I do think Rotator will win the Giant Nut one day. But it was pretty crazy to see that happen. And from what I gather, from what someone told me, it appears that Glitch hit Rotator, bent the weapon, and then Rotator's own weapon was what whipped off that panel, ripped its guts out. And from what I gather, like that specific panel used to be like a stronger material up until this year, where they were like, "Yeah, screw it, we're gonna make it like titanium or something."
Yeah, Rotator
It
posted.
was a bad idea.
Rotator post.
I read a little bit about Victor's summary about this.
Yep.
The weapon did bend up. It just barely scraped the bottom, which used to be titanium.
Oh, right.
I think it's aluminum now. Um, and it caught a very, very small amount of material, but it caught the bottom panel at a very bad angle that sheared off all the bolts on the bottom. So as soon as that panel went flying outward, everything that was situated on it and not, properly affixed, it just basically fell down, and that battery fell into the path of the spinning weapon. It sparked up, and then, when Rotator hit the ground, it basically had no power.
Yeah, Rotator did a summary
There's a better
basically of
explanation.
this fight, which is basically exactly what Jordan mentioned, and
Yeah.
pretty much proved that exact point. And mentioned one of the improvements he looks to make to Rotator is increase the distance between the weapon and the frame of the robot because of exactly what happened there. And yeah, to hope to avoid that in the future. So, but still, it was an incredible amount of action right here. And yeah, I saw Rotator
It
get
looks
to the
like
backside, expose one of the wheels, and then the hit.
the hit. Yeah,
Yeah,
I was like
that thing
screaming at
was
the TV.
that thing
I
was
was like, "Holy shit! What
yeah,
happened?"
that thing was a thing of beauty right there, and it was absolutely stunning to see Glitch manage to pull that thing off, even though it was kind of a driving error by Rotator driving into the weapon, like what Mantine said. And
Things don't joke though.
yeah. Either way, though, we'll see Glitch in the Golden Bolt tournament, and definitely
Dude.
if Glitch can get the drive sorted out, that thing could definitely go on a major run in that thing, but we'll find
Well,
out in a couple weeks. So
that's the thing. I feel like the way to get their drive sorted is to just make it regular drive. Their gimmick is that they hit hard and they have a cool shape. They don't need the Omni drive. I think the Omni drive just hinders them more than
yeah,
anything.
I think a lot of what the Omni Drive is there is kind of like it makes it a bit more unique, kind of to the field, because like that's one of the things that like Greg looks for, I think, when
Yeah,
choosing robots to accept, like how unique they are, and that's kind of where Glitch is going with
yeah.
stuff like that. And
The good news for them is that now that they've kind of they've got their foot in the door now. So I feel like if they come back with a normal drive, people already know, oh hey, this robot is somewhat successful. They've got the weapon figured out, and now they can come back without the gimmick of having shit wheels to
absolutely,
have have normal wheels. They can come back and they can just kind of drop the gimmick and make it more effective than gimmicky. So they have that going for them at least.
definitely. So yeah, anything else about this fight, or should we get to the last part of this? Last part of this it is. So pretty much the last part will be we'll close it out the same way we did the last two Battlebots Champions episodes. Predicting who we think would win if Glitch paired up against any of the robots confirmed for the Golden Bolt tournament, which would basically include the three champions, Tombstone, Tantrum, Endgame, and then the two others that are confirmed to be there, Hypershock and Ribot. So I'm gonna go first for this one this time because like I've thought about this a lot lately, and
Yeah.
okay, so but definitely like Rotator has said, Glitch's big weakness right now is their drive right there, and Mantine's been going on about that. That's why I think any of the robots that like are speedy boys basically are gonna be. That's why I think those three are gonna be the hardest opponents for Glitch, as in Hypershock, Tantrum, and Ribot. Like, I seriously think those three are gonna be Glitch's toughest opponents if they were to get paired up against those, because Rotator, Retrograde, and somewhat Uppercut all expose that the way to beat Glitch is probably take advantage of their drive problems and get to their backside, which is not where the weapon is. So definitely easiest way to take on Glitch, and those three have the best chance of taking advantage of that, just because they're so fast, and Glitch is probably going to have a hard time keeping up with them.
Yeah.
So, as for the other two, then, Tombstone and Endgame. Tombstone, that one I'm a little bit 50-50 on, because, like, Tombstone definitely hasn't performed the best so far this season, but how well is Glitch gonna be able to hold up to a robot like Tombstone? Because like definitely when they took hits from like Retrograde and Rotator, like pieces broke off even if a lot of that was cosmetic damage. But Tombstone is still the most powerful spinner between those three in my mind, and definitely the most capable of dealing damage. And so I'm not sure how. I'm concerned on how well Glitch will be able to hold up, but I've underestimated Glitch all season personally, because like I did have them out in the first round to be fair, and but I'm glad to see Glitch here. Like I'm always happy to see a robot perform
No one
better than
saw
what
the
I
glitch
predict.
sweep coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know one person who saw that coming, but
Yeah.
yeah, and
Uh,
then Endgame. Endgame is honestly the robot that I feel Glitch would have the best chance against. But
Huh.
it's still hard to say. I would probably still predict Endgame for that one if Endgame can drive it well, because like Endgame is pretty fast too. But Endgame's
Yeah.
also got the gyro stuff but they also have a better fork game too. So that one's also kind of a mystery for how that one would go. But I would probably pick Endgame for that one. So,
Yeah.
all right,
Uh,
Pory, Mantine, or
yeah.
Jordan, if you
I
want to talk
want to
about
go.
stuff of this, you're always welcome to.
So, um, I think Tantrum and Endgame probably beat Glitch most of the time, if I had to guess. Um, Tombstone, I think, probably loses most of the time. I think, unless they can KO Glitch, because we don't really know how Glitch can be KO'd fairly easily by like a big spinner. Um, but with how Tombstone's definitely been having trouble this season, I think that Glitch one fight, for example. I think theoretically Glitch could capitalize on it, but I would probably put my money on the Hypershock for that. Robot beats Glitch 100% of the time. Best robot in the field. They're going all the way. Robot, Frog. Um, when we get the deadlift sweep next week, deadlift beats Glitch. Easy. Piece of cake. No problem. Deadlift sweep.
Absolute
And
round take.
and I don't know who's gonna win the last bracket because it's not public yet. So we'll hold off on that.
Yeah. Building off of what you said a little bit, Green. We never know how much damage Glitch can take because its drive doesn't work in the first place. So we don't know when it's damaged and when it's not. I think it's actually a tactical decision that they do that. They make it not work. So when it doesn't work later in the fight, the judges can say, "Oh well, it didn't work to begin with, so I guess it wasn't damaged." Um, Going into my own point, Glitch can't beat a single fucking bot in this tournament, barring the random death, suicide, tombstone attack that it just sometimes does. Um, all of these robots are competently driven verts, so as long as all of the drivers don't go full SpongeBob mode, like I don't need it, and then drive into Glitch's weapon. I think other than that, I think any bot in this tournament can very handily beat Glitch. But we've seen 7 people just kill themselves, so I wouldn't be surprised if another one did it. Honestly, I'm expecting it. I'm expecting fucking Tantrum just drive right into it and die. It wouldn't shock me anymore. It's just what I expect.
Fair enough. Yeah. Any thoughts you want to share, Jordan?
So I don't. I feel so stupid for this, but we actually left early, so I don't know if the Golden Bowl tournament happened already, for it's happening later. Um, there's a lot people don't know about how things exactly were scheduled this season, but since I honestly, honest to God, know absolutely nothing. If we were just putting these bots against each other in a completely hypothetical situation, I think Hypershock takes this one. Against individual opponents, I think they take glitch every time. I think that Hypershock should reincorporate its little self-writing thing that it's had in seasons past again, because like we all know, Hypershock struggles the most when it's upside down. I mean, it's practically non-functional. We've seen it throw itself out of the arena when it's upside down in season 4 on top of Hydra, using it as like a skateboard ramp out of the arena. Um, Hydra against Ribot, I think that's going to be the closest fight out of all the opponents that Hypershock could have. I think Hypershock and Tombstone. Tombstone might have a chance purely because of the hyper exposed wheels that Hypershock has. Um, let's say Tombstone does beat them. I think Tombstone would probably lose to uh, Glitch and probably 50-50 on Ribot, but against Endgame, I think they lose every time. Tantrum, I think Tombstone could take Tantrum. Um, I'm mostly going off of what I saw in the fight with Tantrum and Gigabyte. I don't think that Tantrum holds itself too well against horizontal spinners that have that kind of power. Being as small of a bot as it is, it's very easy to fling around the arena, and I think that just brings on more damage, more internals coming loose, and things like that. But I think out of the bots that we've seen so far, uh, I think that Hypershock would have the best chance out of all of these, all one-on-one against each other. They would be likely to win most times.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. So, yeah, anything else on? Yep, we got the deadlift bracket coming soon. Where
Deadlift
we're gonna find out in a couple days who's getting made fun of between Pory or Mantine and myself. Oh, between the three of us that are here, but it should be an exciting episode either way. So,
Dude, I like how it's not even the Scorpios bracket anymore. It's the fucking deadlift bracket.
yeah, it's not like the deadlift. It's not like the deadlift bracket, thanks to Pory. So.
Deadlift is gonna get shit on round 1, and then I'm gonna hit a Fortnite dance live on camera. So let's see how that goes. I'll
basically like Mantine's first YouTube video, and I don't know how long. Him Fortnite dancing to Deadlift losing to Blacksmith.
Yeah,
if that
that's
does,
gonna be
if that does happen, of course, because like
that's my
Deadlift
return
does
to
have a
YouTube.
shot. I will admit. So
No, it doesn't.
We're gonna have a deadlift sweep. Deadlift's gonna win 4 fights in a row. It's gonna get a golden goal bracket. It's gonna beat Endgame. It's gonna be sick as hell.
Dude,
It's gonna be
if
great.
Deadlift
Endgame's not even in this bracket.
Oh, dude, Topor's confident. I mean, I don't think there's a single robot.
Mantine, I'm not like you, where if you fight a robot with like a wedge on the back of it, you're like, oh, woe is me, it's over. I'm a ride or die for my favorite robots. I'll ride or die for Ribot, Deadlift, Pain Train.
I don't think there's a single robot in this bracket that Deadlift could beat, much less the fight that it's in.
All of them.
No.
I would say
It'll beat Bloodsport and Scorpios.
I would say Deadlift beats Big Dill.
No, it doesn't.
I would
Big
say
Dill has forks.
I would say Deadlift beats Kraken as well.
And they suck.
Yeah,
Deadlift could beat Switchback, but
that too, I would say.
Irrelevant.
Mantine, you seem to be forgetting. I own Deadlift's old lifting arm, so they're gonna win.
I mean, I own one of the side panels that Jackpot
exactly, so they're gonna
apart.
win. Thank you.
That Jackpot one of the side panels that Jackpot ripped apart.
Yeah, well, I have the lifting arm that flipped Jackpot over and beat Jackpot.
Yeah, I have one of the side panels from when Jackpot kicked Deadlift's ass.
Funniest part about this whole thing is I know exactly how this one goes, and I know which pair of you are wrong.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't wait to see that fight. But yeah, anything else on any of these fights here? Anything else we've talked about? I'm guessing not. So yeah, thanks for watching this podcast. Then we'll close it out here. Thanks for watching this video once again. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button as usual. Mantine, Pory, Civilian Arc, and Blaze's YouTube channels will all be linked down below, as well as you can find all of Dragon Slayer's social media information, which will be linked down below, so you can see a bunch of updates from them, As for the future, I would definitely consider checking all that stuff out. And yeah, thanks for Jordan for coming to this one. Hopefully, we'll have you on again for for a future podcast. It was great having you here and getting to discuss lots of this stuff with you. And
Good thing. It was great, man. Thank you very much for having me. Look
oh
forward
yeah,
to being on the show
definitely,
again sometime. Thank you.
definitely, it was a very exciting
Oh,
time.
yeah.
So thanks for watching this, and I'll hopefully see you for the next podcast.